Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. QA Nostalgia here, and as many of you are aware, The Division has pretty much resurrected itself from the dead. We're talking about a game that set record numbers in both sales and massive amount of drop-off post level 30. People seem to genuinely enjoy The Division for the most part, up until end cap, once you get to the level cap, and then it just went downhill very quickly, and many people started to take off, and for a lot of people that was it. They stuck a fork in it, and they were really surprised when they found out that 1.4, and later on, not too far down the road, actually a couple weeks later, 1.5 dropped with survival and completely resurrected this mess of a game. One thing is for certain, we're a far cry away from where this game was back in July when I first started to play it. Yeah, I avoided it like the plague because I saw the reviews that everybody else saw. And when I first got into it, I was like, wow, this is really good. How come it has horrible reviews? And then I got to 30 and I was like, oh, okay. I see what happened here. But nevertheless, we're a far cry away from that. Back then, there was like 3,000 people on it, like peak hours on Steam. At this point, it's way higher than that. I don't know if they've got back half or less. I don't know what the numbers are from the people who bought the game. I'm assuming a lot of people on console traded it in, and they're probably not coming back. Some people, once they write something off, that's all there is to it. They leave. They sell their copy, they're gone. And that probably goes a long way to explain why the game is selling for $20 right now on PS4 pre-owned. Nevertheless, I just wanted to break that down in case there are some people out there who don't know the history of The Division before we go forward with this. Most of you probably do, so I'm going to stop rambling about how we got to where we are, and I want to talk about where I think we're headed over the next year or two. Here you guys can see a map of New York City, and just to the north of where the game takes place, you can see we have Central Park, Harlem, you've got the Upper West Side, Upper East Side, Yorkville. You've got all of these areas that I think we might be going into. I'm not positive. Who knows? They might somehow send us over to Queens. We might go down to Staten Island. I'm not positive. I think Staten Island is going to be in Last Stand DLC. I might be mistaken. But I'm pretty sure they're going to be opening up the map in some way. If you take a look at Central Park, it's not very small. It's actually pretty big. And I think that there can be some really cool stuff in there. I don't know if maybe they'll turn that into a DZ2 and then let us play around the sides of that. Let us go into Harlem and Upper West Side, Upper East Side, Yorkville, in just PvE capacity. If they do that, that would be really cool. It'd give people a new place to mess around with PvP and stuff like that as well. So I think you would make both sides happy. Your PvE and PvP crowd would have something new to do. This would be very smart. However, there is a problem with this theory because Central Park doesn't really have a lot of buildings and things. It's kind of just like a big park. So they would have to repurpose it. Maybe put something like a JTF camp or outpost in there. Maybe it's overrun. Maybe the LMB overran that area and they set up guard posts and different walls and things like that. You get crazy. Maybe start like an internment camp or something like that up there. Who knows? They could get really creative with it. We don't know which way they're going to take it. But in order to make that work, they would definitely have to have artificial structures in place. Or possibly they could use that area for a massive incursion. Everybody knows that incursions in this game are kind of lacking. They're not really that fun. They're kind of small in scale. It would be great if they opened it up and let 8+ players go up there and wreak havoc. Speaking of incursions, you can be damn sure we're going to get more of them, but that's really going to push the limits of what they can do with what they have now. We need new enemy types. You can't keep recycling the same enemies over and over again in these incursions. It's not going to work, folks. So I think that they're going to have a new faction come in. They're going to rise out of somewhere. And in order to really do this, you need to open up the area. That's another reason why I think they're going to open up the map. Because if you want to introduce new enemy types and a new story for those enemy types to establish the lore, it's kind of hard to do that if you don't open up the area. I mean, yeah, I guess you could have a new faction enter. You know, a new player has entered the game, player 2, so to speak. But that wouldn't really be that fun. Imagine if you could go up and then there were gangs in Harlem. Maybe there's a new gang up there. Maybe Yorkville, there's gangs. Who knows? But in order to really do that, I think they need to open the map. They need to have more enemies for these incursions. Because sitting there firing at an NPC or planting a bomb on an NPC and killing a few waves, it's just not really my idea of fun after the second time I did it. Prediction number 2, I think they're going to be expanding upon the base of operations. I think that they're going to be giving us maybe some new skills, hopefully further down the line. This is something that is really iffy, okay, because it's really hard to balance things. They're still trying to balance everything that's in the game now. So adding more skills and talent trees and that sort of thing, it's iffy. I don't know if they're going to do it, but they might. And if they do, then they're going to have to expand the base of operations to reflect that. It kind of sucks. Once you get to 30, you don't really do anything with the base of operations. You don't feel like you're advancing it anymore. You're done. You've got all your skills. Everything's done. Even if they didn't add new skills, even if they added maybe some sort of incentive for something else, some sort of, I don't know, maybe you can scavenge more weapons per hour or something like that, more parts per hour in your base. I think that it would be nice if they would expand that, get people back out there doing these missions to try to expand the base even further. If they open up the map to the north, or anywhere for that matter, then it would be good to see new areas where you could do this, where you could start to do the missions in these new areas and expand. They might even open up a new base of operations somewhere in a new part of the map so that we can feel centralized there, give us a new purpose there, give us a purpose to build up that area so we can establish a presence in a different part of the city. Because you have to remember, we are trying to take back the city. We're trying to bring order into this chaotic mess. So in order to do that, obviously you're going to have to expand, right? You can't just stay centralized. You have to push outward. You have to start pushing these gangs out. You need to bring order back into the city, and you can't do it without expansion. So here I am talking about all of these other things and haven't even touched on the level cap. It's only level 30, which is something that was surprising to me. That's a very small mountain to climb. And we do know that this game is focused around gear score, but a lot of games are focused around gear score and they still increase the level cap. So if they open up the map, they bring us to new areas, like I said, with all new missions and new enemies, there's a possibility they might bump us up to 50 or 60, maybe 40, maybe only 10 levels. I don't know, but if they're going to expand the story, it would be nice if they would expand the level cap as well. Some people might think, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to keep chasing those gear scores. That's fine, and I think a lot of people are probably going to feel that way, but I want to see the story continue to go forward. They started a really good story. I mean, there's some people who are like, the story wasn't that great. I thought it was pretty cool. It wasn't gripping. It was certainly wasn't like a single-player, amazing, like Final Fantasy story or something like that. But I'm interested in seeing the development of these characters we got to know. So the last thing I want to talk about now is something that people have been mentioning for a long time, going back to the beta, a PvE-only Dark Zone. I do not think this is going to happen. And why I don't think this is going to happen is because I think the PvP crowd would throw a huge fit. And that might sound like, oh, well, fuck them then. They don't really matter, but they do. They do matter. And they make up a large part of the community. A lot of people, they look at the end game in the Division, and really that's what it is right now, is getting your gear score pretty much min-maxed, getting to a good build, and then heading into the Dark Zone, getting into PvP. And if you take that away, if you add the option for people to not have to bother with that, they can just go in there and farm with their friends and not have to bother with other people, it's gonna lessen how much activity is happening on the PvP side of things. With the introduction of patch 1.4 and later 1.5, we've got all these different tiers that we can go through. Gear is dropping left and right. It's all over the place. There's bosses on the map that you can go and farm. They spawn like once an hour. So you can really already get that experience out on the normal map. It's not really the same. I mean, the Dark Zone, it's damn dangerous in there, and it's pretty crazy. It is fun in there. But I don't think they're going to make a PvE version of it. So for those of you who are holding out for that, I don't know. It might happen, but my prediction is going to be no. However, we already kind of do have a PvE version of the Dark Zone because you can queue for PvE survival, and you can go in there, and that's what I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of that. I haven't really spent a lot of time with PvP. I'm mostly into PvE, so I haven't really seen the Dark Zone that much outside of like the beta. I think I'm level 10 in PvP, so it's been cool to go in there and not have people trying to murder me. But then again, there's elite PCs that are patrolling the streets, and they're all over the place, and they usually kill me anyway. So those are my predictions, my hopes and dreams for the Division going forward, and I do think that it has a bright future. But right now, I want to kick it over to you guys. What do you think about the Division? What do you think about the possibilities of future expansions? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to rate it thumbs up. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.